Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus, and as you can see today it's all about Ziggurat, a legacy game designed by, let's say, the legacy dream team Matt Leacock and Rob Daviau. And today I'm more or less taking a look inside the box, so I will show you some of the components and maybe walk you through a couple of turns for the very first chapter of the game. Yes, it is a legacy game. Yes, there might be some spoilers, but that is also the main reason why I will only have a quick look at the very first chapter of the game, because this is what you are supposed to open anyway when you start playing. So I think I'm not giving away too much at this point in time, but obviously, the more you will play, the more you will unlock. Schmidt Spiele kindly provided me the review copy of the obviously German version of the game. As usual, I try to translate on the fly as much as I can, so bear with me here. It's definitely a lightweight family game, 8+, and I think from reading the rules and watching a couple of videos myself, I think that should really make sense, and artwork is really beautiful. I showed it to my little daughter. She happens to be 8, and she adored it. Obviously, we haven't started playing. Yes, that's why I wanted to unbox it first with you. But I think she's already quite eager, giving this one a go. So yeah, let's have a quick look inside the box. Obviously, we do have the rules, Spielanleitung in German, so you always learn some German with me, so take the opportunity here. Again, I think I'm not giving any way away here. That is something that you have to read through anyway. But here you already see these are all the spaces where you would put in your little rule stickers and whatnot. There are, of course, already good amount of rules available here, more rule stickers, but I think ultimately, even with, let's say, all the extra rule stickers you're putting in, I don't think it seems to be an overly complicated game. But again, it makes sense, right? I mean, it's a family friendly game. Here you can put in some of your achievements. And yeah, that's basically that. Now we come to, let's call it somewhat of the meat of the legacy mechanic in this game. So here are the different envelopes, and this is, I think, going to chapter 6, if I saw that correctly. Yes, indeed. So chapter 1, that's the one we are about to open any minute now. So that's something I will give away. This one, not so much. I would not even show you how thick some of these feel. Some do definitely feel thicker than the others. So I'm pretty sure there is a lot to explore. And yeah, chapter 6 here. That's the one question I had, and I really didn't read an awful lot. To me, it seems like a relatively short game. You have to play each chapter, or you have to win each chapter before you're allowed to move on to the next chapter. So I don't know how difficult things can get. So don't know if you have to play chapter 3, I don't know, 4 times, for example. There are some, let's call it catch-up rules, basically things that make things a little bit easier once you, I believe, have failed a chapter twice or so, but you still have to keep playing. So maybe ultimately you have to play this game 10 times? It's feeling maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depends on how, let's say, well you are playing. But yeah, those are the different chapters. And then, yeah, I think the real beautiful aspect of this thing is the 3D Ziggurat here. So I think this is the ground floor, and I think I will put this together in a second. I think a lot of these things are already more or less, yeah, put together. Here we have some punchboard tokens. I mean, these are the individual little characters. Maybe let's zoom down here a little bit. I think these are all characters you can play. I think there are 2 characters per color or so. Don't really know actually, but it doesn't really makes a whole lot of difference. These are the fire elementals also. I believe these are basically our current adversaries of the game, and honestly I do expect we will see more of those. Here are the so-called hero cards. This is something I will most likely not use, so you are supposed, maybe we'll cover that in a sec. Now let's not give away too much at this point in time. These are all parts of the Ziggurat, and honestly I do like how this all fits in here together. So everything finds its place. I'm curious if I will be able to put it back into the box. Let's see about that. Starting player token, obviously. Hidden knowledge also. Okay, we are only supposed to open this envelope when we, yeah, that's the one. When you have lost the same chapter twice in a row basically, or whatever. Yeah, I think in a row. Then I think we are getting something. Okay, cool. That was the one I was thinking. These are, I believe, the standard cards. I think these are the ones that we are supposed to see, because otherwise they would be in an envelope. And these are basically the hero cards. I think everyone is using the same cards or the same card deck, at least from the start of the game. Again, I have no clue if this is ever changing throughout the chapters, but I think these are all the starting cards that we will be using. But I think I will cover that a little bit in my little overview or walkthrough. And then typically what you shouldn't do is, sometimes there is stuff hidden below the inlay, but in this case that's obviously not the case. And now I will try to put the Ziggurat together, and then maybe we will play a couple of rounds or a couple of turns just to give you a feeling of what it is you want to achieve in this game. And here we are. The only thing that you have to consider is to put it together in a certain orientation here. The rules are pretty clear on those. Everything holds together very, very nicely. So there's these little plastic foots here. So this is really extremely sturdy. I have some issues with the foundation. It's warping a little bit, but then again, it didn't really matter at all for putting this Ziggurat here together. This is really nicely done. And then the next thing that we do is to have a look at chapter 1. So let's put this here aside. So again, we are being told before we are starting to play this chapter here. So let's bring everything out. I already had a quick peek. Actually, that's why I know that I'm not giving away too much. So that's all. And so we basically have another envelope, but this is something we are only allowed to open once we have won this first chapter. So we are not going to take a look at this. Then we have basically, these are the stickers, but I think right now we don't really know what to do with those stickers. So here we have chapter 1, and here we would be doing some actual reading, and I will try to put an overlay over the German text here. So we have the chapter 1, the Ziggurat. You are heroes and heroines, at least you want to be one. You find your village rather dull. The ancient Ziggurat in the center of the village just stands there. According to legend, dragon once lived in this temple tower hundreds of years ago. Now only weeds grow in it. But everything changed last week. Since then, people have regularly seen fire spirits on the steps of the Ziggurats. The elders are looking for volunteers to investigate this phenomenon. Finally, you can prove yourself. Hopefully, you will find a dragon. Or maybe not. Now here on the right side, we are basically being told we are all choosing one hero sticker and put it on your hero card. That's the piece I think I'm not going to do, and this is where these hero stickers are coming from. And we are putting these onto the hero card. So one sticker goes on top of this. Then we would be thinking of a name here, obviously, and the starting player will be the youngest player in this game. Keep in mind, it's a cooperative game. Maybe I should have mentioned that, but again, the team of Matt, Leacock and Rob Daviau, it kind of makes sense that we are dealing with a cooperative game, right? And I think there is also a goal mentioned down here. All hero characters must reach the top of the Ziggurat. So basically up here, and whoever gets there is kind of, not really out of the game. They can still play cards and whatnot, but their character is basically out of the game. In between, for this very first chapter, we do have some titles, some honorary titles here. I think from what I understood, they don't really serve any game purpose whatsoever. So basically, whoever reaches the top first is called the Flash, I believe. And there are also some stickers here. Whenever someone is being burned, I think they're out, and then we have lost the game. We'll also put a sticker on there. And maybe throughout the game, maybe at later points in time, there will be a reference to some of these titles or to these burn stickers and whatnot. Setup for chapter 1 is fairly simple. I'm now simulating a two-player game. In a two-player game, you are removing some cards from the deck, these 3 basically, and then you place your heroes on one of these houses. Each in a two-player game, there is one little consideration. You have to basically start on opposite spaces here. So basically here and there, it doesn't really matter too much. Let's say this is the youngest player, so they're getting the starting player token. We are placing these fire elementals on their respective starting space. We have 2 more for each of the colors here. And for color friendly, that's really nicely done. They have put something on the back side of these tokens. That's the blue one. This is German, but blue and blau is basically the same two letters. Then each of the players will get one of those cards. We will show them. So these are really open. And then we are already able to start playing the game, starting from the starting player. So here you can't really choose who is going when. Maybe this is changing in later scenarios and later stages of the game. But again, ultimately, we are now trying to make our way up here without falling into one of these holes and without running into one of these fire elementals, because that is bad. You get up here by using these letters. So here's a letter space. I'm not sure if you can. I think it's really a little bit tough to see. Let's maybe move it up just a little bit so you might be able to see that. Here is 1, 2. So with the letters you can move up, and with these ramps you have to, or you can move down. That's basically what it is. In theory you can move over these holes. That is allowed, that is fully fine, but you can't end your movement on one of these holes because then you're out and then we have lost the game. Similarly, it's the same for these fire elementals, but here you can't even move over them. So you really don't want to touch them in any way. And yeah, in between you are basically playing your cards, and yeah, it's kind of a very interesting puzzle. Okay then, let's start playing. The starting player has exactly one card at their disposal. I'm not sure if this is changing again throughout the chapters. Maybe at some point in time you have 3 cards at your hand and you get more choices. I can only imagine, but for now, this is the card that we have to play. And again, we are not allowed to choose the player order here. So in this case, it's the bluish character here. They will have to play their card. And this one says basically move your hero figure 1 space. So that's basically what you have to do. If it says 3 spaces, you have to move it 3 spaces. And then we are moving each of these pink fire elementals, fire spirits, by 1 space. Yeah, now of course we do have some choices, because we can move our character 1 space to this direction, to a ramp. A ramp doesn't really help us now, or we can move it here to a ladder. And I think that's what we want to do. We want to move upwards, right? So we are moving this character 1 space here. Now we have a ladder, so we are immediately moving up. So that's basically the turn, or the upper part of our card blade. Next we will have to move each of the pink fire elementals. Right now there's only 1 on the board. And here it's important to have a look at the other players' cards, because we already know that the fox character here, they have this card in their hand which says move 1 or any one of these fire spirits by 2 spaces. It's really exactly 2 spaces, so we really want to make sure to use it well. And I think in this case we may be able to do just that, but of course we have to play this card here. So we are moving this fire elemental, I think 1, 2 spaces here. No, it's 1 space, only 1 space here. The other one was 2 spaces. So moving them closer to this ramp. We also want to make sure they're never making it here to the top of the Ziggurat, because whenever there is a fire elemental here, we have immediately lost the game as well. Terrible stuff. But that was already the entirety of our card. The last thing to do is to draw a replacement card for the blue character. And this is again important to know, because then we know what this is. Okay, again, we have to move our hero figures exactly by 2 spaces, and then the yellow fire elemental will have to move 2 spaces, or each one of those. But I think before we have to do that, of course, we will have to use the card, or it's the fox player's turn in this case. So in this case we can move any hero figures 2 spaces, and then we can move any fire spirit 1. I think this is a very cool card actually, and I already start to see the appeal in this game. So who are we moving 2 spaces? I think in this case we may want to move our character by 2 spaces, because this allows us to also move here to a ladder, and then we would be allowed to climb up. But I think we do have to climb up actually. I think let's do that. So we're moving 1, 2 spaces because we are next to a ladder. We are immediately moving up. And again, this is our goal. We want to make it to the top of the Ziggurat here. And then we have to play this card, or we have to play this effect here. Move any one fire elemental 2 spaces. And I think that's a no-brainer. We are moving the yellow one 1, 2 spaces. So they're falling into the hole. So for now, they're basically out of the game. They could come back through cards here from what I have seen. But so far, we have one less fire elemental to worry about. Nicely done. So this card isn't really terrible anymore because right now there is no yellow fire elemental out here. So we have played this card. It's getting discarded. We are drawing a replacement card. And I believe if we are running out, we might have also lost the game. Okay, that's an interesting one. Every hero character by 3 spaces, and then also the yellow one by 3 spaces. Interesting as well. And I really shuffled this deck quite well, actually. Really, really interesting stuff. So what's next? Again, we have to move our character by 2 spaces, and then, yeah, we can't ignore the lower part here, so we can't move any one of the yellow fire elementals. Cool. Or maybe not so cool. Didn't pay attention here. This was really, it's a good example. You really have to see. So maybe with the last card, we shouldn't have moved the yellow character actually. I think it didn't matter actually. No, I think it didn't matter at all. So we have to move our hero figures 2 spaces. If we're moving him 2 spaces to the left, we have immediately lost the game. So let's not do that. If we're moving him here, we have to slide down the ramp again. So wow, that is terrible. That is terrible, but we have to do that, right? So we can't just say 1 and 2. That is not possible. We have to basically end our movement in front of a ladder in order to move up. That's how it works. Okay, that's really terrible. So we're moving 1, 2 spaces, then we have to immediately move down the ramp here. But again, we can at least ignore this one here. This way we are not really making any progress. Let's draw a replacement card, and I believe I'm supposed to move this marker to the other player, to the active player. What do we have here? It's basically the same thing. Move your hero figures 2 spaces, and then, okay, we are moving the pink one again by 2 spaces. Not sure if that's a big problem or not, but it's the fox character anyway. They have an interesting card as well. We have to move each character 3 spaces, and then the yellow fire elemental 3 spaces. Again, right now we don't have a fire elemental here. Same problem here. We can't move here to the right because that's basically a pit which would make us lose the game, but we can move 1, 2, 3 spaces over here with the fox character. And over here I think we are moving 1, 2, 3 spaces also closer here to the ladder. All these other buildings right now don't have any meaning to us, but I think this is going to change in later chapters of the game. Relatively certain about that. And then again, yeah, we would have to move the yellow fire elemental, but we don't have one. So let's discard this card, and then we will draw a new one. But let me take one mulligan. I think we just moved 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. We were here. I think if I now move 3 spaces here, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, because with my next card here, I will be able to move up. So yeah, let's absolutely move in here instead. So sorry for the mulligan. So, and then we are drawing the replacement card finally, and this is again 3 and the blue. Okay, now we will see some action here actually, but it's back to the blue character. They will play their card. We have to move our character 2 spaces, 1 and 2. So this will allow us to move up the ladder here, and then we are moving each pink fire elemental 2 spaces. So we could in theory simply move the fire elemental back, but here is the ladder, though this could be problematic. And let's move the fire elemental 1, 2 spaces here. Right now this is a special space, but right now this special space doesn't have any meaning whatsoever. Again, this could change throughout the game. Let's discard this card. Let's draw a replacement card, and then, okay, now we are getting some choice with the blue player. Move your character, your own character, 1 or 2 spaces. Okay, that is definitely helpful. So now we are getting something, but it comes with a penalty. We have to place a new blue fire elemental. That is bad. But anyway, we are moving over here. Each hero figure by 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. We can move over this, that is fine, or we can simply move back 1, 2, 3, and maybe that's the direction I want to take right now, because I think the blue fire elemental is far enough away. Yeah, let's do that. So 1, 2, and 3, so no harm here. But over here we have to move 1, 2, 3 this direction, because if we're moving here, that's a problem. We will lose the game. So let's move blue 1, 2, 3 spaces over here, and then we will have to move the blue fire elemental 3 spaces, and I think that is pretty cool. 1, 2, 3. So this is out of here. It will come back with this, but at least we are not adding additional ones. So overall, I think this was a pretty okay card for us. Let's draw a replacement card. And ooh, okay, yeah, that's the thing. So now we are basically getting 2 fire elementals out onto the board. So maybe let's do one final turn this video. So again, we will start with this player here. We can move our character 1 or 2 spaces, and there is a risk, but I think I still want to move up. We see the ladder up here, so we can basically also see that here. So we are moving 1 space here because we are on a ladder. We are moving 1 space up. Right now that is not a problem, but in theory here is a ramp. You see the little arrow, and this ramp tells us, yeah, if the pink one will make it here, they will move down. But that's already that. We will still have to place a blue fire elemental, and I think they go onto their starting spots. Yes, indeed. So we are discarding this card. We are drawing our replacement card. Okay, we are getting more and more of these fire elementals now. So now we can also move our character 2 or 3 spaces. But let's do the fox character first. And again, this is the last turn of the game. So we can move 2 spaces. And I could do that and simply move our little fox characters 2 spaces here, which would be okay, but then we would be right next to this blue fire elemental, and we will get a second one, and I think we can staple them actually. We could also move 1, 2, 3 spaces over here, but this doesn't really help us either. So no, I think I will, because I'm not really playing it to the end, I will move this character 1, 2 spaces here. We are next to a ladder. This means we are moving up, and last but not least, we are adding a second blue fire elemental here. And again, we can put them on top of each other as far as I understood. Yeah, they can be on the same space. And then basically we are discarding this card, drawing a replacement card. And what do we have here? We would have to move our hero 3 spaces, and then we would move the pink 3 spaces into any direction. Right now we only have 1 pink fire elemental on the board, but the 3 spaces here would be actually pretty amazing. 1, 2, 3. So we would make it 1 step further up the Ziggurat. And that's basically how you play the first chapter of Ziggurat. Keep in mind, this is the very first introductory setup. There are 5 more chapters to go through, and again, I'm relatively certain that more and more mechanics will unfold, or the game will get more interesting, more challenging as you play along. Again, I haven't opened any of these other chapters, but I have full trust in both Matt and Rob. They know how to design these kind of games, and I really start seeing the appeal of this game. Yes, it's really a puzzle. You really have to work together. You really have to see what cards do the other players have. Do I move to the left, to the right? In theory, only a very simple choice, but it could really ultimately matter when you have to take all the other cards into consideration that follow your card. So really, really nicely done. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have played through maybe the entirety of the game. Of course, please don't spoil anything to all the other players. Just let me know what you think. You can even shoot me an email or so. Personally, I'm okay with spoilers actually, but yeah, that's basically my little unboxing and walkthrough of Ziggurat. Hope you somewhat enjoyed it. Hopefully it gave you some idea of what you can expect with this game. Before I forget, huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members. You guys are great and amazing. Can't tell you how much I appreciate all your support. If you want to support my little channel here, go to my Patreon, join me here on YouTube, click this little thanks button below the video, like and subscribe, leave a comment. This really greatly helps the channel. Really appreciate this, a big deal as well. And yeah, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos, and until then, bye bye.